Alright boys, we're going to be showing you how to take your tires from this, which is 330 seconds of tread to 530 seconds depending on the tire, to this, which is about 8 to 930 seconds of tread. And we'll be answering some common questions regarding tire regrooving, and remember, I'm not a professional, so let's get into it, guys. Alright, so first things first, we need all our supplies. I like to get everything laid out. So we need 4 chalks so the truck doesn't roll. We need our jack. We'll do one side at a time. Extension cord for the tire regroover. There's a tire regroover, and if you're wondering what brand it is, there it is right there. And made in the USA, boys. I wouldn't recommend that one though. It's kind of hard to use. Spend a little more money. Also, you need a tire tread depth gauge, a probe like this, a calculator, and some paper and a marker. And I'll show you what that little probe is for here in a little bit. Now I just need to chalk my tires because I'm sitting on a slope. We'll just do 6 of them. Alright, so we want to make sure these tires are regrooveable. You see right there it says regrooveable on there. But you also want to make sure it's not a retread, otherwise known as a recap or a double coin. And you can tell that just by kind of looking right here at the seam. You can usually, peel up a little bit on the retreads. And you can also tell a retread by looking at the tread, and you can see where the tread comes together a lot of times, and it's kind of uneven. So just look all around your tires and make sure they're not retreads. You definitely don't want to regroove a retread. You also don't want to regroove the front tires. Don't do that. So I'm just going around here, just kind of making sure there's no wires showing on any of these. Kind of just checking them all out, and I'll also kind of clean them up before I do all this. I want to try to get some of that debris out of there, some of these little rocks. Right now I'm looking for the tire with the least tread on it. That's the tire I want to base the tire regroover on, which that's this one right here. Alright, so here's where we use the little probe, and I would actually recommend using something not quite as sharp as this, something with a little bit of a blunt end on it, but still to where you can get it down in the tire, and then you can figure out how much rubber you have down to the cords. Once you have that, you'll be able to figure out how deep to set the regroover. So then I just held it up to my tire tread depth gauge, and I think it came out to like 16-30 seconds, which was actually more than I had. That's why I said use something blunt, don't use something really sharp. Next step, we want to go ahead and measure our tread depth on that tire, and go ahead and measure at 3 different locations, and then whichever one of those measurements is the least of the 3, just go off of that one. The reason I'm saying that is because you can take off too little on these tires, but you take off too much and it's a done deal. So okay, so I wrote everything down. I'm going to do my best to explain all this. We have 16-30 seconds of rubber, meaning from the very top of the tire all the way down to the cords. We have 430 seconds of tread. So you subtract that 430 seconds, that gives you how much material is at the grooves, meaning from the bottom of the grooves to the cords. We can't legally do any more than 930 seconds. The reason for that is you can't have any less than 330 seconds of rubber between the cords and the bottom of the grooves. So 930 seconds was the deepest we could legally go, but I'm going to go ahead and just cut 630 seconds. We add 430 seconds to that to account for the tread. That gives us 1030 seconds. That was easy, wasn't it, guys? And now we're just going to go ahead and set our tire regroover to the depth we need, which was 1030 seconds. And honestly, I would have a tire to start out on to practice this stuff with, guys, because it's not something you just want to start on the tires you're actually regrooving, because it kind of it takes a little bit of practice, especially with the tire regroover like this. It's not easy. It's real easy to go down too far, I know that, but it's easier just to kind of start out safe and maybe set that tire tread depth gauge a little shallow and go ahead and take some cuts and then measure those cuts, when you pull them out, and see where you're at. It's definitely something that's trial by error. That's why I say you want to go ahead and have a old tire laying around to kind of practice on, because it's nothing to play around with. So it took me a little bit of trial and error right here to be able to get my tire regroover set to the depth I wanted it at. It seemed like every time I turned that little screw, it messed up the blades. So you just want to spend some time on this, make sure you get it where you want it to be. And you might have to adjust it for different tires, because my tires are different tread depths, so that's kind of a pain in the ass. I think we finally got it right here, and I cannot stress this enough, guys. Take your time on this, make sure you get it right. So now that the tire regroover is good to go, you want to go ahead and plug it in. And I let mine sit for about an hour before I use it. So now I'm just cleaning up the tire. I'm just kind of digging out these little rocks. Just making sure the regroover has a clear path. And then once you get the little rocks out, you can, do like this. Get you a little broom and just kind of sweep off everything. Just kind of makes it a little easier to regroove the tire. It's not 100% necessary, but I would recommend it. And I'm not doing the outside treads, and I'll show you why right here. It's because I have about 9/30 seconds of tread on it, so there's no reason to take off rubber when you don't need to. Alright, so here's the part you came here to see, the actual tire regrooving. So with this little tool, like I said, it's a little harder to use than the more expensive brands, but I'm cheap. So anyway, here it is. It's kind of hard to explain without being there, but you just kind of get into a groove of it. Ayo. But you just kind of got to watch the blades and make sure you're in the groove. You got to make sure you're at the right angle. You got to make sure you don't sit in one spot too long and melt the tire. And just kind of work it around and spin it as you go if you can. It's kind of hard to do. It will wear your arms out. It'll wear your wrists out for sure. But there's a little piece right there, and you can measure that piece, see how much tread you took off, and you can also measure on the tire, see how much you took off. That'll tell you if you took off too much. You don't want to do that. I'm not taking a whole lot off, guys. It makes me nervous, I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to cut down all the way to the cords. I've read where some guys take 6 to 8 30 seconds off, guys who do this professionally. I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm taking, 4. I think I took about 4 30 seconds off of each tire. That'll give me, a little more life. And you don't have to do this right here, cut across, but I want traction, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is probably the worst part of it. It takes the most time. I like to have a little bit of traction when I'm going down the road. Now I wouldn't do this on a trailer tire probably, but since it's going on the drive axles of the truck, it's kind of important to have traction. So yeah, it's a process. It's not fun at all, guys. Yeah, and you gotta pick the little pieces out and measure, and make sure for each tire that you adjust the tire regroover accordingly, because like I said, the tread depth is going to be different on the tires. Some of these tires were down to 3/30 seconds of tread. Some of them had 5 or 6 30 seconds of tread. So like I said, you got to adjust that tire regroover. It's not just a one size fits all thing, and you got to take your time on it. You can't get in a hurry with this, or you will mess up, and if you mess up, you don't get a second chance. All right, so let's get into some of the questions, and the main one being, can you legally regroove a tire on a semi truck? Yes, you can, if the tire is labeled regroovable and it's not a recap and it's not on the front of the truck. Also, you can't regroove tires on a passenger bus. So that answers that question. And I know a lot of people think you can't legally do it. You can. Just look it up. It's in part 569 of the FMCSA rules and regulations. Just look it up, guys, and it will tell you in there you have to have at least 30 seconds of tread between the cords and the top of the where you cut. And also it has to be, the width of the new cut has to be between 3 and 5 seconds. All right, question number 2. How much material can I take out of the tire? That's a big question. And there's not a universal answer for that. I'm sorry, guys, there's just not. It just depends on the tire. It depends on how much tread you have. Because that means you're going to have to set the tire regroover at a different depth. There's just all kinds of factors that play into that. You just got to figure out how much material you do have, and then go from there. And then don't set that tire regroover at the maximum depth you can go. I would not recommend that at all. I would recommend to set that tire regroover at a very modest tread depth. Question number 3, how long does it take to regroove 8 tires? I believe it takes between 30 and 45 minutes, and it definitely helps out to have somebody out there helping you, trying to hold the tire. That shaves off a lot of time. Question number 4, how many sets of tires have I done this on? Well, this is the 3rd set of tires, and the first 2 sets were the exact same brand as these tires, and I didn't have any issues out of those after regrooving them for about 6 months. Got quite a bit more life out of them. I was very happy with that. Saved me all kinds of money, because I think a brand new set of these tires is about $2,000. Yeah, they're cheap. They're like $200 each, but I know where to find the deals, boys. I know where to find the deals. And as you can see, these tires wear down very evenly. I'm lucky to have good alignment on the back of my truck, and I'm talking too much about I'm talking too much about good things related to my truck. I shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I did. I should take all that stuff back. But I'm trying to prove a point. Question number 5. Can you regroove tires on a passenger vehicle? No, you cannot do it on a car, a pickup, a van, an SUV. This is only for a semi-truck, and I believe it's illegal to do it on passenger vehicles. So, only for semi-trucks, and only if the tire is regroovable. I already know, because I've seen the other videos where there's guys that get on there and are like, that's unsafe, you shouldn't be doing that, you're putting the public in danger. And yeah, if you do it incorrectly, yeah, probably so. But if you do it correctly, no. But if you can point to something, if you can point out, some statistics, some kind of study, some numbers, rather than just a general statement, that really has nothing to back it up with, we'll talk. Just send something over to me. I'm not trying to be a smart ass. I've just never seen anything on it. I'm not, I don't think there's some kind of epidemic of blown tires from from regrooved tires. I haven't seen it. So I think it's one of those things where back in the day it was fine and it was perfectly accepted, and somewhere along the way one person decided, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. And then that opinion just spread out to everybody. DIY things like this to save money just seem to be a thing of the past now, guys. Old school things like this are kind of going away, and people are just like, buy new stuff. Just buy a new whatever. To hell with trying to make your old stuff last. And I don't like that. I'm not that kind of person, you know? It's not a good way to save money. But anyway, enough rambling. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate on this video. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Hey, and the haters fuel my channel, so that's good. Gives me some views, and who knows, might get a subscriber. It's, I mean, you put yourself out there when you do these kind of things online, for sure. For sure. I know all about it. You can't please everybody, guys. But be sure to like my channel, subscribe to it, comment. I will respond. And hope you enjoyed the video. You might not have. I don't know. Be sure to check out one of these 2 videos here for more DIY stuff, guys. More exceptional DIY material.